We have a lot to talk about, from a huge franchise getting a remake. What is Ubisoft doing with NFTs and Ghost Recon? Xbox is performing better with Star Wars. So we got some very exciting breaking news here, and it has to do with the remakes of Max Payne 1 and 2. It's official. Remedy Entertainment has entered into an agreement to remake Max Payne 1 and 2. Now, these games came out way back in 2001 and 2003, and they were just absolute game changers for the industry, really taking everyone by storm. Absolutely amazing games. I actually just rebought them. They were on sale on the digital store for Microsoft for Xbox, and I picked them up because I want to play through them once again. Had no idea that they were going to be doing a remake, but I think this was something a lot of people wanted, so I'm extremely excited about this. But here is the news release of what they're going to be doing. Remedy Entertainment, the creators of Max Payne, are pleased to announce that they will remake the iconic Max Payne and Max Payne 2, the fall of Max Payne video games, in a new development agreement with Rockstar Games. The relationship between Remedy and Rockstar Games dates back to the original release of the critically acclaimed Max Payne and Max Payne 2, The Fall of Max Payne games. Developed by Remedy and published by Rockstar Games, both games left an indelible mark in popular culture, lauded for their neo-noir atmosphere, groundbreaking storytelling, and bullet time gameplay. For me, the bullet time gameplay is something that when I first picked it up and first played it, it just completely blew me away. And I think for a lot of people, it blew them away just with how well it was done, how fun the action was, how when the bullet time kicked in, it was just something I don't think a lot of people had played before. I hadn't really experienced it before. Back in 2001, 2003, I was much younger, so hadn't played as many games as I've played now. But bullet time from the Max Payne games were just incredible to experience. Continue on here saying, we were thrilled when our long-time friends at Remedy approached us about remaking the original Max Payne games, said Sam Hauser, who is the founder of Rockstar Games. We are massive fans of the work of Remedy team has created over the years, and we can't wait to play these new versions. Max Payne has always held a special place in the hearts of everyone at Remedy, and we know the millions of fans worldwide feel the same. And honestly, I think this is going to be huge. There are millions of fans of this game. In fact, we even were hearing about the calls of getting Max Payne 3 in FPS boost on Xbox, and they finally did that, and that alone had a huge hype around it. So remaking these games is going to be huge. They continue on here saying, we're hugely excited to be working with our partners at Rockstar Games once again for the chance to bring the story, action, and atmosphere of the original Max Payne games back to players in new ways. Under the development agreement signed today, Remedy will develop the games as a single title, so you're going to get 1 and 2 in one package, for PC, PlayStation 5, and the Xbox Series X and S, using its proprietary Northlight game engine. So Northlight, I believe, was used for Control, and it is going to be a current generation game only, meaning we are hopefully going to be getting just something that absolutely blows us away. It's not going to be held back in any way by having to be made for the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4. And finally, they finish here saying the game's development budget will be financed by Rockstar Games, so you know they're going to have a huge budget, the size of which will be in line with a typical Remedy AAA game production. Under the agreement, Remedy has a royalty opportunity after Rockstar Games has recouped its development, marketing, and other costs for distributing and publishing the game. The project is currently in the concept development stage, so it will be a very long time before we see this just in the concept development. But with remakes, they generally can make them faster. They already have the story. They already have everything that they need. They don't have to come up with stuff from scratch. So I'm guessing maybe in 2 years we'll see this, but I can't wait to see it. I can't wait till we get that first gameplay video showing off just the brand new remade Max Payne games and the all new shiny graphics on the Xbox Series X, on the PlayStation 5, on PC. And it's just going to be huge when they finally do that. It's something that I think people have been clamoring for a long time, wanting to bring these games back, even just making a new Max Payne game or something. But we're getting this remake, getting 1 and 2, both within the single package. And I think it's going to be an awesome release when it does happen. All right, jumping over here to some more Ubisoft news. And Ubisoft has been very interesting, very weird to follow over the last couple of months, or the last year or so, as they seem like they're completely shifting their business model over to games as a service, all of this NFT stuff. And it just doesn't seem like it's working out so far, at least from the public perception. So yesterday, they had announced that Ghost Recon Breakpoint, they were giving out the last update. In fact, here is the release. They said, first, we just want to say thank you for all the love and support you have brought to the game. During the past 2 years, we released more than 11 updates and supported several unique initiatives, from the Ghost experience, the return of AI teammates, special operations with Sam Fisher, working with our 6 operators in Operation Amber Sky, and lastly, our Plant a Tree project. We have been hard at work to add extra content for Ghost Recon Breakpoint. The last 4 months marked the release of our final piece of content, the brand new Operation Motherland mode. Tons of new items, including 20th anniversary iconic outfits and quartz items for Ghost Recon Breakpoint, quartz being the NFT stuff. We will continue to maintain our server for both Ghost Recon Wildlands and Ghost Recon Breakpoint, and we truly hope you will continue to enjoy the game and have fun in solo or co-op with your friends. From the entire Ghost Recon team, we want to thank you again for your continued support and love you have for the franchise. The feedback you've given for Ghost Recon Breakpoint has been instrumental and will help shape the future of the franchise. Until next time, Ghosts. So there you have it. They are going to be done making any new content for Ghost Recon, but I guess they're not completely shutting it off. You're still going to be able to go play with your friends and co-op and get online and all that type of stuff. But what is going on here is that this is a game that started off very badly, like terrible critical reception, and they made a lot of changes, and I think for a lot of people now, they actually enjoy the game. I have the game. I bought it when it was on like a deep sale. I still haven't jumped in. Definitely a game that I want to jump into because I am a big fan of the Ghost Recon series, going all the way back to the 360 days with like the Advanced Warfighter series and the Future Soldier game, which I'm actually just playing through right now. I really do like the Ghost Recon series. I thought Wildlands was a great game, but Breakpoint just really set a lot of people off right when they released it, but they've made changes that I think have improved it overall, and I won't know until I play it. But if you play it, let me know in the comments below. But now they're done with making content for it, and they are moving on to their next game, and apparently that next game is called codenamed Over, which was originally leaked by Nvidia and has been in development for over a year and could arrive as early as fiscal year 2023. So there is that to look forward to. But on the other side of things, what people are very upset about right now with Ghost Recon, if you remember, they released Ubisoft Quartz, which was like that NFT thing. And NFT has been completely just shunned by the gaming community. There hasn't been very much success at all with NFT. And there was even this report here showing that Ubisoft Quartz Ghost Recon NFTs appear to have made just $400 in total, which, I mean, that could be more now, but back in December 2021, when this was reported after they had released this program, they had made no money off of it, which further pushed home the point that gamers don't want NFTs within their video games. And all this being said, we finally get hit with this news here, which I think further pushes home the point as to what is going on at Ubisoft. Why are they doing these types of things? And NFTs right now are seemingly a scam. I mean, they're no different in the sense to microtransactions when you step back and think about it, but when the way that they are marketing it is that you're going to be able to use this in other games, you're going to be able to sell it off. This doesn't look very good, at least in my opinion. Ubisoft says that Ghost Recon Breakpoint NFTs are history now, and thanks all the buyers. You own a piece of the game and have left your mark in its history. Ubisoft also promises NFTs for other games in the future. And we go over here to the NFTs they were offering. They're all sold out, so I guess they were able to sell them all off, and who knows what their final amount of money they made was. I don't think that has been reported yet, but all of this stuff is pretty much just going to be useless at this point unless you're going to be able to bring it over into another Ghost Recon game or to a different Ubisoft game that comes out in the future. But they're pretty much just saying, hey, thanks for picking up these NFTs, thanks for giving us your money. They're yours to keep now as digital asset, which you can't really do anything with other than show them off in the game. And we're going to continue to make NFTs even though nobody wants it and we've made no money off of it. And you would think that this would be a hint that people don't want these things within video games. And then something like this, you're seeing this from a perspective, if you haven't gotten into the NFTs, kind of turns you off from ever wanting to purchase these things, because at any point they can just turn off the game and make those NFTs worthless. Similar to microtransactions, but also different because of what NFTs represent, in the sense that they are marketing it as something that's going to be very rare, very expensive, that you're going to be able to sell to other games or to other people if you don't want it anymore, which we haven't seen any of that yet. So if you are somebody who's invested in these NFTs early, you're pretty much shit out of luck, at least for these Ghost Recon things, and people are still very upset. Ubisoft obviously isn't listening to what people want at all with NFTs, as they're continuing to make these for other games. But hey, it is what it is. It's just been such a weird thing with Ghost Recon, with Ubisoft, with the way that they are going, really trying to push on NFTs onto people, saying that gamers just don't understand it yet, and trying to really prepare for the future. But if you go through the comments here, you can see what people are saying. Don't get what makes NFTs valuable. What do you do with one after you buy it? Nothing. They're pointless pieces of shit that crypto bros love to vouch for. Their proof of ownership and the future of digital assets. So you got people going back on exactly what it means. Continue going on here. Ubisoft, you own a piece of the game and have left your mark in its history. The game, it's kind of pretty funny. They say that does look like a legit NFT though. We got this meme here of Kojima. Where did it all go wrong? Apparently 2020-ish NFTs and blockchain technology were meant to be part of the release of Breakpoint and move on into other titles as part of the workshop that took place with Ubisoft a ways back. But the performance of the game alongside code, keep in mind, also in 2020. Ubisoft, didn't someone work the number since the NFTs are public that Ubisoft only made 330 from this crowd? I mean, that's what was reported, but we don't know if that's where it is now. A lot of people continuing to cite the $400 that they made. But all in all, my point of talking about all of this is that Ubisoft has made incredible games. I really do like a lot of their games, the Assassin's Creed series. I like Ghost Recon, played Rainbow Six, all great stuff. It's just a little bit concerning right now as to where they're going, where they are moving with the future of their games that are coming up. If they're continuing to push this NFT stuff that people obviously don't want, aren't buying, and then they can turn them off at any time, which takes away the whole point of the NFTs, which is to be able to sell them when you're not using them anymore. But if no one's going to be playing the game anymore, who are you going to sell it to? And if you can't transfer these over to other games, again, who are you going to sell it to? All right, jumping over here to Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga. This game just has come out, getting great reviews, looks great. I do want to play it eventually. But let's take a look at the performance of this game across the different consoles. So it says here from Clobro in a tweet, Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga runs best on Xbox Series X at dynamic 2160p 60 frames per second, a trend which can be seen for other games as well. There will be people who think it's just a Lego game, but the Skywalker Saga looks incredible with expensive visual effects and great lighting. Now, he's getting this information from this YouTube channel here who does a bunch of these comparisons, El and Alista Debits, and they do a comparison between the Xbox Series S, the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series X, and the PC. So there are different modes in this game. There's a 30 FPS mode, there's a 60 FPS mode, and you can see here the difference between all of the different consoles. The Xbox Series S, I think, is performing extremely well. 1260p at 30 frames per second with a dynamic resolution. It has a common resolution of 1152p. On the PS5 in 30 FPS mode, it's 2160p at 30 frames per second. Again, a dynamic resolution with the common resolution being 1980p. And then the Series X with 2160p at 30 frames per second with the common resolution at 2160p, meaning it holds that 2160p pretty much throughout the entire time that you are playing, which it gives the advantage over all the other consoles. And then in the 60 frames per second mode, again, we have another pretty big disparity between the Series X and the other consoles. You got the Series S, these are all in 60 frames per second, 1260p, dynamic resolution, common at 1080p, which again, it's great. It's staying at 1080p generally at 60 frames per second. PS5, 1440p at 60 frames per second with the common resolution 1368p. And then the Series X, 2160p with the common resolution at 1872p. And you can see there is a relatively big advantage over the Series X, PS5, and the Xbox Series S. And I mean, it's something that we are going to continue to see, I think, going forward throughout this generation. I know people love to talk about it. We're waiting on the tools. When is this going to happen? PS5 is still outperforming in certain games, but in general, I think the Series X does have that power advantage where we will see more things like this, where the 60 frames per second mode, you'll have the better, higher resolution more consistently as we play through the games. And then the Series S, I mean, what else more can you ask for a console that is $299 when you're getting 60 frames per second, 1260p, only dropping down to 1080p, which I think is something that I hope we continue to see throughout the life cycle when more games come out. And I mean, we heard about the Unreal Engine 5 stuff yesterday, that's all going to play into how well these consoles continue to perform when they're on engines like that. You hear about all the RDNA 2 stuff with the Fidelity FX Super Resolution 2.0 release, which is just making that better games are going to be able to run at higher resolutions with less power being used, so you can keep those steady frame rates. Continuing on here, we even see kind of like the frame rate difference between the PlayStation 5, where it kind of drops off there at the end with the 60 frames per second mode, where it's pretty much steady throughout the entire time on the Xbox Series X. So lots of great stuff here. I know these differences aren't huge between the different consoles. I mean, no matter where you play, you're going to enjoy this game because the game looks awesome. But it is something to continuously look at as we go through this generation for those who are interested in the difference of how games perform from third-party developers. And finally, we have this report here about social media interactions. Now, this was originally shown off here by this tweet from Rishi Chadha, who is the global head of creator and gaming content partnerships, giving gaming insights for Q1 2022 in terms of what were the most popular topics. And this article here from VGC talks about the ranking number 1 to number 4. And they say here that although the information provided by Chadha doesn't give any exact figures, it shows that there were 4 clear discussion peaks between January 1st and March 31st this year. These were on the days that Microsoft announced it was acquiring Activision Blizzard, Sony announced it was acquiring Bungie, Elden Ring, and the release of Fortnite's new season had started. And they say that the Twitter data shows that the release of Elden Ring generated the most discussion by far on the platform, likely due to many millions of players buying the game on day one and sharing their initial impressions. I mean, of course, it was a massive game. I mean, everyone was talking about it. You literally couldn't go anywhere without people talking about Elden Ring. The second most discussed topic was Sony's acquisition of Bungie, followed by Microsoft's acquisition of Blizzard, which gained slightly more buzz than Fortnite's new season. So the big interesting thing here is, how did more people talk about Sony's acquisition of Bungie over the Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard? Because when you compare the two acquisitions, I mean, at the end of the day, the Activision Blizzard acquisition is far bigger than the Bungie acquisition in terms of just all of the IPs they're getting with it. The monetary value of it, it's like not even close. So that alone makes you wonder, how are more people talking about PlayStation with Bungie over Microsoft and Activision Blizzard? And I've come to the conclusion, which it makes complete sense. I think why people will be talking more about this than the Activision Blizzard one is basically PlayStation is just a more marketed and known global brand. And Xbox can look at this and they can take away from this that Xbox still has a lot of work to do globally. PlayStation has an extremely loyal fan base. They have a huge fan base across many different countries everywhere around the world. Microsoft, I would say, is more focused on the North American market, where most of their players play. The UK market in Europe, they have a fan base over there as well. But when you're thinking of things like Japan, you're thinking of other Asian countries, which they're continuously trying to expand into. We've seen them expanding Xbox cloud gaming into various different countries recently and trying to get a bigger foothold in Japan. They still have a long way to go. Now, this isn't like evidence just for that. I mean, this isn't like proof that they are just way behind, but it is definitely something that I think, because they are further behind in the global market, it makes sense why more people will be talking about this acquisition over the Xbox acquisition. And then there's the other thing. I mean, acquisitions has been in everybody's mouth since 2020 pretty much, or even before that, but 2020 mainly after the Bethesda purchase. And then leading up to the Activision Blizzard purchase, people were wondering what's coming next. And then they just dropped that massive info on us that they've purchased Activision Blizzard, which led to people saying, how is PlayStation going to respond? And then this happens, which kind of, I guess, brings it to the peak of people talking about this type of stuff. You even have people who are thinking that Bungie still made Halo and that Halo was going to be a PlayStation exclusive. So there's all these different types of things, but at the end of the day, I think that Xbox marketing can take these numbers, take these statistics, and just see that where they have to build upon in terms of growing that brand globally. That's it for me, guys. Let me know your thoughts on the remakes of Max Payne, what's going on with Ubisoft, the difference between Star Wars on the PS5 and Xbox. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here, you like what you saw, consider hitting that subscribe button. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for your support. I'll catch you in the next video.